Yeah, my name is Domenic Crouch and I'm a member at the Inglewood Masters Swimming Club out at Terry Tyzack Centre. Been there a member almost 2 years now, and it's been a great experience. Recently, probably my actual swimming history started when I trained for Ironman in 2015. I actually joined a squad and did my swimming 3 times a week and got up to 15 kilometres a week-ish. But now just a bit more social and just enjoying being part of the club and swimming for fun. I grew up being very passionate about triathlon. I actually played cricket. It was my sort of definition of the athlete that I was. So all of my weekends went into playing cricket as a kid, and growing up into a teenager and young adult, I played cricket, throughout the entire summer, and triathlon was more a way for me to train, and long distance running was a way for me to train for my cricket and become fitter and fitter. But I'd always just had this love of triathlon. Never really, coming from a reasonably modest family, we didn't have the expense to spend on bikes and bits and pieces. And with cricket and triathlon season sharing the same part of the calendar, I only did them very rarely. But after leaving cricket, got an injury and stopped playing, I went a bit more into triathlon and did my first half Ironman in 2008-ish. And yeah, just, it was one of those things that I grew up watching the Australian Ironman from Foster every year when they had the TV special, and really enjoyed that. And it was just something that was always on the bucket list to do. And then got to the full Ironman in 2015. Haven't got back there yet, but it was one of the greatest experiences ever. And doing Bustleton, the swim out around the jetty as part of an Ironman, it's just one of those amazing swims to be able to do. Not a specific memory, but I have to say that the club that I'm with, we have a wonderful group of people who I guess are very passionate about not just swimming up and down the lanes, but also getting out and being part of the broader swimming community. So the memory itself is more about being involved and going on, let's call them club excursions to events, to open water swimming events. I'm much more passionate about open water swimming, and there's sort of a little cohort of us that do lots of the different events and get to sort of share in our own experiences. And one of our members, I'll name her name's Sue. She's just an awesome competitor. She's just fierce in the open water, and more often than not tends to win their age group, which is awesome to be a part of. So obviously, as a swimmer, there's no swimming on. We as a club have a little WhatsApp group that we all stay connected on, that we sort of chat about. Some of the more senior people in the club have been doing dry land exercises and sending them out on a regular basis so we can all keep active. I'd love to say I've been doing them religiously, but what I have been doing is actually distracting me, and it's kind of the perfect time to not be in the pool. So work-wise, I've been focused on other things that I really, I guess, have let my swimming slide a little bit. But it's given me an opportunity to pursue something else. And with pools, our pool's reopening on a pretty limited schedule, but I've booked myself in for tomorrow night to start getting back into it. But yeah, just getting out, walking, get some fresh air. I obviously run and ride. So, just been doing that to sort of keep active. But yeah, I haven't had a specific goal that sort of kept me going through lockdown. So I went through the UWA program, Exercise and Sports Science program. It was a great program to expose me to to a lot of the leading edge science around coaching, around sport. And for me, my passion was the sports psychology side of things. So I pursued that through postgraduate studies, doing an honours and PhD, which was a lot of years at university. But what it gave me was an appreciation for science, for critical thinking, for methodical approaches to everything I do. The basic principles of science can apply to everything from your own personal finances through to your professional life. But obviously, having spent a lot of time on the mental side of sport, I developed my own business, which is still running as well, consulting with athletes on mental skills. And that's really given me a passion for the way people think and the way they approach everyday life and athletic performance. So the Good Chat Foundation is really, I guess, a manifestation of all those different experiences that we can see an opportunity to improve everyday life. And it's just about putting together opportunity and I guess experience, and that's led me to where I am now. With my swimming, I border on the side of over-analysis probably, because I've spent a lot of time in biomechanics and thinking about those kind of things through uni. But there's still nothing better than getting out and just following the program and clearing your head, not thinking about it too much and just trying to keep up with the feet in front of you. So it's kind of a battle between wanting to always get better and also using it as a bit of stress relief and just getting in the water and following the black line, trying to remember what the set was, or if someone else can, then every now and then everyone forgets it and you have to try and catch up with where you were or make it up if the coach is out of reach. But yeah, it certainly has, like, that university experience has led me to a passion, but also teaches me what the important things are and what to focus on at different times. So we started the Good Chat Foundation at the end of last year, sort of the end of November. We had a discussion, and when I say we, it was a friend of mine and another sort of professional contact of hers that we sort of started building this idea of having a sports charity and a mental health charity combined. So the idea being that there is lots of wonderful work going on in mental health to increase awareness and to improve the way mental health is viewed in society. What we wanted to do was take a next step into helping people overcome challenges when they do have a mental health condition and they're getting treatment for it. So I guess everyone at the moment is experiencing some degree of isolation, and it's showing us the effects that isolation has on people. And when you have a mental health condition, there's no end date for that isolation. It's not like, okay, as soon as the government says we can go back to living as normal, then all the rest of us will go back to feeling that we're fine and connected, and those isolation feelings will quickly disappear. Whereas for people with mental health conditions, that isolation tends to be a bit more long lasting, and there's no light at the end of the tunnel for maybe when things could go back to normal. So what we're trying to do is use sport as a vehicle. We've all played sport, we've all enjoyed growing up with weekend sport and community sport. So we know there's people who can't afford those experiences. Sport's an expensive exercise. Master swimming is great. It's one of the most reasonably priced things that are around. But the research we're doing seems to suggest it's about $1,500 a year to play community sport for kids, which for some families is out of reach, and particularly if they're having to pay for therapy and treatment of the mental health condition, it's just something that's not easy to have, and we want that passion that everyone that does sport to be experienced by people who are having challenges and trying to overcome mental health conditions. The fact is that I think 1 in 7 mental health conditions appear before the age of 14 or around the age of 14. So, we want to start intervention as early as possible. We want these kids to be able to build protective factors, to make new friends, make new challenges, and really have experiences that can help them overcome the challenges that they are facing and the programs and process they're making with their therapists as well. The goal is that the sporting experiences they have help those conversations when they're talking to their therapist. And it's not just doom and gloom, but they can talk about the new friend they made, or the first goal they kicked, or something, or the first win they've had. And those experiences can be used to build wins and to really make progress. There's 2 ways they can get involved if they're interested. So the first is we have a trusted partner program. So part of our program is that we don't actually know what sport or where location-wise our placements are going to be. When we get a referral from a psychologist, it could be someone who lives in Joondalup, it could be someone who lives in Mandurah, or it could be Armidale. We just don't know. It could be anywhere. We don't have a restriction or an intake area. So we need to, I guess, have clubs that do have an environment where it's inclusive and welcoming and basically provides a safe place for people to find their passion. So we want clubs to register and kind of be open to taking on someone who's not sure about what they want to do or wants to get introduced to swimming. I know one of our lanes is full of beginners, and people come through that kind of aren't sure about lap swimming and they've done a little bit here and there, but that can grow into. We had one of our swimmers who started in lane 1. We got 2 lanes, we now have 3. So he's one of the fastest in the pool and did a solo roto crossing this year. But he started in lane 1 and was struggling to get through the distances, and has built up to now doing a channel crossing, which is an awesome achievement and not something everyone's going to do. It's not everyone's progression, but he had a chance to, and we want people who are outside of our clubs and want opportunities in swimming to know where we can go to and who we can talk to, and create a real community of support. So we're looking to do that, and then we also have a club program where we're working with clubs to support their mental health culture. So not necessarily for placement wise, but just helping them understand how they can create a really inclusive and supportive environment. The goal is, with the club program, to really get help-seeking behaviours actively engaged in. We all know about anxiety and depression. The goal is to make sure that those people who actually do need help can get help. And we're always going to start with friends and family when we look for help, or we want to talk to someone. We're not going to go straight to a professional. And our clubs, whether it's a swimming club, a footy club, whatever it is, they're the people that we have those quiet words with, and we want to go to and seek help on, and catch up for a coffee and share some thoughts. So our goal is that those conversations become really rich and supportive. Like, this pandemic is obviously, we've never seen anything like it, most of us in our lifetime. And we don't know what to do. There is no right way or wrong way to approach dealing with and coping with unprecedented situation. We've never sort of been locked up in our house, and as we slowly start to open up, you can see people talking about how much they just value going to the coffee shop and sitting there and drinking a coffee with someone that they don't live with. So we want to maintain some normality. We want to get out and see other people. And while we have to stay 1.5 meters apart and all that kind of stuff to be safe, we still value human connection, and exercise is the perfect way to sort of get out and get some fresh air and clear your head and all those things that it does anyway. But when you're in isolation and you're out of your normal routine, you can sort of slip into, it's too hard, I can't be bothered doing that, and then you're sort of thinking, well, I'm not eating as well, or there's all sorts of things that can happen. So it's just about really having a routine and having little wins in your day that, if it's just getting out and getting some fresh air with a walk, then that's part of being a productive and healthy person. So it's not even necessarily the actual physical exercise, which is important because, we're not doing the exercise that we used to. We're not going to swimming training. So you still want to stay fit and feel healthy. And, as soon as you hit the water again, you're not that far away from the goals that you had previously. And you just, you pick up your training, reassess your goals and your distances and how you're feeling. You'll get in the water and you won't feel as good as you did before because, yes, you've had a couple of month layoff, but it's about not putting expectations on that, and just taking opportunities to make yourself feel better, to clear your head, to just think about what you need at that particular time. Success is one of those things that is very, very difficult to define. I've been through so many different iterations of what success is and what I wanted to do. Eventually, after being a poor uni student, there was a monetary volume attached to it. I wanted to make money and have a career in, a high-paying career. And then you kind of realize that, yes, money is important, but, it's just the little wins. So I think where I'm at now, and, we could have another interview in 10 years and it might be different again. But where I'm at now, it's just, daily wins, progress towards anything that I'm working on, whether that's professionally, family, sport. So, I might have a day at work where I'm just a bit blasé about what I did, and it was kind of procedural stuff, and I felt like I was okay, but didn't really, set the world on fire. But then I get in the pool and, catch up with some people and, have a really good swim and feel fresher after it, feel fitter after it. And that's the one thing that at the end of the day, if I can go to bed feeling like I've had a productive day, then I think that's what I'm using as my measure of success at the moment. Not a particular song. There's not one song I listen to. I do have probably what is an potentially out of character music genre. So I listen to heavy metal music, which when most people meet me or have known me for a long time, are surprised at my music choices. I'm a pretty level-headed guy and, very business oriented and pretty calm, not too emotional. To them, they find out that that's my music of choice and the music that I relax to, and that it just, people don't understand. They hear heavy metal music and can't understand that that's my happy place. I'm not getting angry, I'm not listening to it to punch through walls or anything like that. Makes me happy. I can give a straight out of our club example for this. So like I said, I joined the club because I was there at the time, swimming next to them and had a really good conversation. But the club itself didn't have a website. We didn't have a Facebook page. We didn't have any of that modern technology that, basically nowadays, if you don't have a website or a social presence, you don't exist. So I put my hand up to help the club, we started with a Facebook page, just sharing some basics about what we were doing, some of the achievements of our members. But really, it was just a presence so that if people came to the club and saw our poster, chances are anyone in my age bracket or the younger age bracket's going to then look for what they're doing, who's a member, what types of things the club does. And there was no information when I was looking. I guess I was just a bit more keen to try it and jump in, feet first. But a lot of people that once we started the Facebook page, we started getting messages. When do you train? What types of things do you do? Do I need to have this? Do I need to have that? Can I just come once a week? Do I need to be able to swim fast? All these questions that everyone kind of just wants to get a feel for what the club's like. They just want to know that they're not going to turn up to a club that's all about winning gold medals, which most masters clubs aren't. They're very inclusive and welcoming. But that digital presence is really important. You've got to give the community, I guess, an insight into what's happening at the club and what they could get out of it. Basic marketing principles, and all this stuff is, it's pretty cost effective for any club to do. Most masters clubs aren't rolling in cash. But the goal is to connect with people in a way that they're going to connect with you. And as soon as we got the website and we got the Facebook page, all of a sudden we had more and more inquiries, and we've added a third lane because we've got more and more members. So it's not, you don't have to do anything special, but you just have to understand that if you're trying to attract younger people, they're going to need to tick some boxes before they reach out and join your club. And those digital presences, they don't have to be awesome. You don't have to be posting every day, but just give an insight into the people and the interactions and the club life. And you'll get more and more inquiries, and people will come and go as they do anyway. But yeah, that's my advice. I wish more swimmers knew that being part of a club makes swimming easier. I can swim further and faster at training than I do if, say, I miss the training and just go down the pool and swim by myself. You get drawn along, you get challenged, there's just that extra level of excitement and engagement that, you'll sit at the pool and you'll finish a set and you kind of be like, oh yeah, I'll have a drink and whatever. But when you've got coach and teammates kind of pushing off the wall and not waiting for you, you just push off and follow them, and you just keep going. And then all of a sudden at the end of the session, you've done 2.5, 3.5 kilometers, and you haven't really thought about it. But when you go to the pool by yourself and you're counting you're like, oh yeah, that's 2.5, that's enough. Or, oh yeah, I've got to 2 today, that's fine. That environment really pushes you to be a better swimmer. Well, obviously the fitness element, every time we do just like a gut busting session that we're all in it together, and every time we stop, all we do is complain, and but then at the end of it, we actually feel like, okay, that was worth it. The fitness element is there. You swim 1 lap, you swim 100 laps, it's just swimming is going to give you the fitness. You turn up twice a week, you turn up once a week, you're just going to get better. A bit of commitment will give you that, but you could do that by yourself. It's really the fun and the friendship that makes my Masters Club, because I can speak from experience for that, why I turn up when I don't want to. Makes it, why I do those extra little bits at the end when I might have got out otherwise. Why we do, 50% more effort than we might do by ourselves, because we know that everyone else is doing it and we're all working towards a goal that we're going to celebrate. Personally, one of my favorite parts of the club is the pizza night. Every couple of months, we have a pizza night, and we have our club president Steve is the ultimate caterer, and we just have this this amazing get together after the pool, and it's generally we have a time trial and get through that, and everyone sort of compares notes on how they went, how they felt they went, but we all just have a bit of a social get together, and it's a change up, and it's one of the more enjoyable parts of club life for me, because we get to talk. When your head's down in the pool and you're struggling to breathe when you finish each repetition or each set, you don't really get to have long chats and get to know your club members that well, but those are the things that really make a club go beyond just turning up and getting fitter.